Hello, my name is Danny and welcome to 6 classics that are beginner friendly. Now, I know with book talk there is sometimes this divide between people who read classics and people who read romance novels or books that are more for pleasure. Not saying that reading classics can't be for pleasure, but a lot of times there is this divide where it's kind of them versus us. And I think that's just kind of nonsense. Everyone should read what they want to read, whatever brings them pleasure, whatever they get joy out of. That's the whole point of reading. And it should really just be all of us, all of the people who read versus them. I think reading classics can be a very daunting task because you can get classics that are 200 pages and you can get classics that are 500 plus pages. This video will include 6 beginner-friendly classics that hopefully will not overwhelm or make you not want to read any other classics. I'm going to start off with Pride and Prejudice. The plot is easy to follow along with. The characters are engaging and well thought out. And it has fairly relatable themes such as social norms, love, loss, and a little bit of self-discovery. Now, this is not one of my favorite classics. It is a good enough classic that I included it on this list because a lot of people like the romance classics because they are filling a spot that they're kind of lacking in modern day romances. Just a quick synopsis of Pride and Prejudice. A young woman, Elizabeth, navigates love, loss, life, society, class, norms in the world, and she does it with Mr. Darcy. I think the combination of romance, humor, and the societal commentary that this book has is good for beginners because it's not so heavy that you have to do so much thinking while you're reading. Dracula. This is a fast-paced horror thriller classic. The majority of this book is told through journal entries, so while reading it, you're getting a kind of vibe like reading a diary. And then you have your vampire lore mixed in with a kind of gothic world-based. So it is a good read, especially if you like vampires already. A quick synopsis for Dracula is Count Dracula is pursuing Lucy and there are a group of people trying to stop him from getting Lucy. Following closely to Dracula and the spooky gothic atmosphere that this book has is Frankenstein. This is one of my go-to recommendations for people who say that they want to get into reading classics, but every classic they've picked up has been boring or too hard for them to understand or too complex or non-linear plot. So I will recommend Frankenstein. This has very accessible language and it's got a pretty engaging dilemma in it. This follows Dr. Frankenstein, Victor Frankenstein, as he creates a monster and then the consequences that follow the creation of the monster. It's short, it's famous, it's widely read, and it's also just a great entrance into classics if you haven't found a classic that you really like just yet. The second book that I recommend consistently when people are asking for a good classic to get them into reading classics is A Picture of Dorian Gray. This book is filled with simple writing. It has a little bit more of the philosophical side with the conversation on vanity, morality, and consequences of hedonism. The Picture of Dorian Gray follows Dorian Gray, who is a self-described handsome young man, and he basically makes a deal with the devil to remain handsome and young forever. Oscar Wilde's writing is very witty and very smart, but it is not overly complex, so a beginner in classics wouldn't feel threatened or nervous or that they don't understand the philosophical questioning of the book. Little Woman. This is a heartwarming and character-driven book with very straightforward storytelling, no really complex language. This follows the 4 March sisters as they grow up during the Civil War time, and each sister, just as with families nowadays, break apart and follow and pursue their own wants in their life. This book is geared towards young adults, so it is a great book to get into classics, but it is a longer book than most of the others. But reading it, it's very easy and uplifting. Lastly is Giovanni's Room. This is a short, straightforward book that is filled with emotion. It covers lots of different things: identity, love, sexual orientation. It has a lot of emotional depth for such a short book. And Giovanni's Room follows an American man living in Paris who is struggling with his feelings for Giovanni. James Baldwin's writing is very beautiful. The story is very touching, especially for those in the LGBTQ community. And overall, this is a classic that I love to revisit even today. Hopefully one of these recommendations struck home with you and made you feel a little less intimidated to pick up classics, to get into the classics. There are plenty of others that have accessible language and are not so complex that it is hard to follow. If I didn't list a beginner classic that you enjoy, feel free to comment it down below. Until next time, bye!